Here's some things that I personally liked of the gameplay. A large change that they introduced in this game was removing map markers for when you fire your gun. I kind of enjoy this twist as it doesn't make me rely on the mini-map as much as it makes me rely on what I'm seeing in front of me and my senses rather than just staring in the top left of the screen, which is a nice change of pace. I'm just not fixated there. I'm not reliant on that for it to get me kills, and overall I think it just makes me a better player because it removes a crutch in a sense. However, you know, UAVs exist, so it really isn't gone. People are just complaining. I like the sound being integral in the game more, such as footsteps, which is a controversial take. I think the footsteps are kind of just fine in a sense, which is, I know, jarring to say, but I think it's not that bad. As a person who plays Escape from Tarkov and other tactical shooters, this game really isn't that bad, and sometimes I barely notice the footsteps anyways, but when I do notice, I feel like it rewards me of noticing that person who decided to start sprinting next to me versus being more cautious and checking their corners.
Enemy is securing Alpha.
Another thing that I liked is the movement change. You can't really slide cancel as you could have anymore, which to me isn't all that bad. You know, you can still movement around, you can still bunny hop, you can still slide, you can do whatever, but I feel like them removing that aspect doesn't really take away a lot of the game. I feel like it just takes away an annoying part of the game of people just skating around the arena at Mach 7. You know what I'm saying? And removing slide canceling doesn't make the game bad, you're just annoying. Finally, a slower pace makes gunfights more engaging, but a rushdown playstyle is still very rewarding. I don't know how many times I've just anticipated a person coming around a corner and I got them for anticipating that. The game rewards me for doing that. The game rewards me for understanding the map, choke points, and places of interest. However, if I'm skilled enough, being a rushdown player or a person who is able to weave and run through gunfights very easily, that is still highly rewarding, which I like. I've seen people do this play style, and I've even done this play style a few times. And the fact that either or playstyle can reward you as a player by giving you like different perks and score streaks is pretty cool.
We're losing ground. I'll back you up.
Oh! Reloading! Throwing flash grenades!
Enemy UAV overhead.
Tell me I'm better! Alright.
What I don't like about the gameplay as much, I feel like in some of the larger maps, there is an emphasis on hiding more than being an active player in a sense. On the British map, for example, the British Mansion, I've encountered, I wouldn't say campers, but people who like to linger and lurk around an area and really just wait for you to walk past. Versus, you know, an active player who will run, hold angles, and do other stuff. There's just way too many places in a larger map where I have to look for somebody, and since this game doesn't punish you for firing as much, it can be kind of frustrating when you hit a corner and it's just like, oh, I died because he just decided to sit there for an extra 5 seconds. I also don't like some of the tacticals. Tacticals are your secondary throwables, such as the shock charges. They return for some reason, and they stun you. They make you shoot your gun when you don't want to. They make you just miss entirely, which is highly irritating, and they can honestly just like make or break a match if people just spam those things. Last thing that I really don't like for the gameplay, especially those who were kind of like nitpicks, the beta servers are laggy, or at least laggy for me. I don't know why, but sometimes I would go to shoot somebody or somebody would try to shoot me and the game would stutter, and it would either make them miss or me miss, or just some weird internet stuff would occur. And other times I think desync was present in some of my deaths too, where somebody saw me when I couldn't see them, which was irritating. I hope when this game launches, they fix that immediately. What I like about the gunplay of Modern Warfare 2 is the overall pacing of the game. It doesn't feel as fast as 2019, but it feels fast enough to the point where you can use some tactics that you would have used in the first game. However, this does promote map knowledge and knowing your weapon well enough to get a nice kill. What I like about the time to kill sometimes is that it feels perfect in a sense. Some weapons just feel amazing, like the M4 or the assault rifle version of the Lockman, or what I like to call the G3, in the sense of like those things can melt, but in other times the gunplay can be very slow, which is what it feels like. It feels inconsistent at times, which can be very annoying as it can often get you killed. I really like the sounds in the audio feedback. Every time you shoot your gun, it sounds amazing, as well as other parts of your soldier moving or running or doing pretty much anything. You can tell when, oh, someone's reloading over here, or someone's running up to you, or where somebody's shooting at. Like, they most definitely improve the audio, and I really enjoy that. When it comes to the recoil, I would say it's kind of strange. Not strange in the sense where you need to learn the recoil pattern, but strange enough in the sense that it's pretty much random, and like other games, you're gonna have to learn your weapon enough to the point where you just can't rely on a knowable recoil pattern. Lastly, the new Gunsmith is pretty tight. They've revamped it entirely. And instead of it just being weapon, 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 it is now receiver. You upgrade that receiver and you get different receivers. So in a sense, you're upgrading one gun and you're getting like 8 out of it, which is nice. What I mentioned prior, the time to kill, or the TTK, it feels inconsistent at times, which is very annoying. There's been times where I've dumped a magazine into somebody and they're still running around kicking, which can be very annoying. When other times I can do the same thing and that person will drop dead. I don't know if this is a game issue or whatever else. It certainly isn't that bad, but sometimes it can be a little jarring when you realize, like, wow, I dumped half my magazine and that person is still alive. Did I miss, or was it something else? I don't know. I just feel like the time to kill just needs to be maybe tweaked just a little so it feels a bit more consistent. But overall, it really isn't too terrible. Lastly, for what I don't like about the gunplay, the gun effects are somewhat irritating. The dust and the muzzle flash can really obscure your vision when you're trying to shoot somebody. And of course, you know, kind of realistic in a sense, like muzzle flash is bright, dust particles and whatever, but it's a game and I think I'd enjoy it more if I were able to see who I'm shooting at, you know, versus not being able to at all. What I like for the map design in Modern Warfare 2, I enjoy the interesting map designs and locations. There is a shoot house, military base style place in the beta. There is a British mansion that's very large and spacious and has like wonderful modern and classical architecture. And there's like a Mexican marketplace that's also pretty cool to go through. I like the verticality of these maps as well. These maps don't feel as one-dimensional as you may think. I can go up and down in some buildings and I can hop on some things too, which is nice. I hope when they introduce more maps into the game, they let us have the sense of verticality and sense of being a general smarter player more in these types of games, because past Call of Duties wouldn't really let you hop on things, but this one does, and that's great. Please keep that. Another thing that I enjoy with these maps is the color scheme. You know when you're in a different map. No map really feels the same so far. I know when I'm in the Mexican map. I know when I'm in the British map. I know when I'm in the military base map. They all feel distinctly different in their architecture, color scheme, and overall feel, which is great. Keep doing that. I want to see more of this. Here are some things that I didn't like for the maps. I think some of the maps follow the 3-lane map structure, which has been present and a trope throughout the series since almost day one. The map in Mexico, for example, is pretty much a 3-lane map. It doesn't have that much depth in consideration to the British map and the military base map, as those have more lanes and areas for opportunity for player encounters to occur, while the Mexico map is just 3 lanes. It's just pretty basic, you know, your front, middle, back, you know, it is what it is. Some maps feel a little bit too spacious. I think the perfect map is the military base. It has enough space, in my opinion, long corridors, but a close quarters indoor section, which is really nice, and I enjoy that area. The British map is too spacious for my liking. At times, I was thinking to myself, why is this a 6v6 game mode? You really could just fit in like 10v10, and it just worked even better. There's just too many areas where people can hide, too many corners to check in some instances, and honestly, all the gunfights kind of take place in one space anyway because the map is just that large. Finally, the maps were kind of glitchy. The Mexico map in particular is the only one I've really had issues with, where textures and items and words would kind of just fade in and out of existence, and it would be very noticeable. If I was running down anywhere, I could notice lights literally flickering on and off for no reason, or words on a wall disappear. And it's a shame because that map is very beautiful and one of the beautiful ones that they've made in a very long time. Overall, in my humble opinion, the beta is nice. It is just fine. This isn't the worst Call of Duty they made in years. Vanguard exists. Complaining about footsteps in realism, come on dude, it's a Call of Duty game, is corny. Please grow up. Just because you can hear someone else's footsteps or they can hear yours just means adapt as a playstyle. It does not mean that the game is now easier. Go play Escape from Tarkov and come back. The game feels pretty good to mediocre, in my opinion. Like I say, it's only a beta. We only have 3 maps and like 6 guns to use, dog. It really isn't that deep. Finally, saying the game is easier just because your annoying play style is gone doesn't mean that the game is bad, and it doesn't mean that the devs aren't listening to you. Rather, it is you who must adapt your play style. That is all.